Hello, everybody, and welcome to our training today. Today's topic is money, self-worth, and zone of genius. And we're honored to have Kyle Koerner here on the call with us. Kyle Koerner has been in the transformation business, consulting business, coaching business for many, many years now. He's owned his own businesses for decades now. Had a lot of success and helped a lot of other people create a lot of success working with large corporations, Sprint, and just really been heavily involved in some of the most complex business deals, business consulting, and personal development and transformation work as well. So his knowledge and his in-depth experience is priceless. He's the guy that I trust in the top 3 people in all the world. He's on that list. So this is a guy I trust with my wife, my kids, my family, my clients, my everything. He has absolute impeccable integrity and a depth of knowledge and heart that is priceless. And Kyle is also lead trainer and breakthrough coach and accountability coach in my Badass Ascension coaching online programs. And he also helped co-facilitate in the Grand Canyon. He was heavily involved in all the processes and the supporting all the people that were involved in the breakthroughs and all of that. So we work together very deliberately, and we're expanding to do even more together, and it's an honor to have you here, Kyle. Thank you.
Thank you. I've been looking forward to this, and I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed the last near decade that we've worked together and created amazing things.
Awesome. Yes, it's an honor. Thank you. So today's topic, money, self-worth, and zone of genius, is something Kyle and I have explored for many, many years in trainings and workshops, both where we were attending as participants and where we were, facilitating as facilitators and co-training, co-facilitating, breaking people through one-on-one. So these are topics that we've both explored and expanded into ourselves over and over again and continue to do so. I continue to expand my money consciousness and my abilities to up-level my money creation abilities, my mindset, my skill sets around all of that. I continue to expand into self-love and self-worth in ways that allows me to love others more fully and to continue to be more and more successful in my own business. And then zone of genius is just a critical other component to all of this, which is really about discovering your most innate talents, gifts, and abilities and how to share those in the world, and how that is ultimately the most profitable thing you can do from an emotional, mental, spiritual, and financial level of the game. So Kyle, we wanted to discuss this, one, because it's of tremendous value to you, listeners, the watchers, the marketplace, everyone out there. So we wanted to give this to you as a contribution, because that's how we roll. We love to contribute. There's a principle we teach called value follows value, or dollars follow value. So we know that we show up and provide value, and then people appreciate that and want to give back to us as well. So it creates this ongoing exchange of value where each of our lives continuously gets better. So this is the gift we're bringing today. Kyle was there as a facilitator, but whether you're a facilitator or a participant, you still come down from the mountain with insights and key new learnings. So the joy of doing what we love is that not only do we help others to make all these breakthroughs and have all these awesome experiences and up-level their life and get better and better results, we get the same thing for ourselves constantly while we're at it. So the whole entire process, did we get to go out and have a blast in the canyon? Did we get to show up and bless people's lives tremendously? Absolutely, those are true. But we also got to up-level ourselves in the process. So I want to have this discussion around this money, self-worth, and zone of genius because both Kyle and I experienced breakthroughs on our own levels in the process of doing this in the canyon. So with enough being said from me, I'd love to hear from Kyle now. Kyle, and with a little more context, this is part of this call, this video is part of the series that we're putting on around the concept of vision questing. It's the Native American tradition where they put their strongest and most willing up on a mountain for days at a time with no food, no water, no distractions. They sit in a small circle, and there's a lot more to it, but they sit there for days and days and days until they receive a vision or a very strong inspiration from source that brings back guidance to the community, to the tribe, to the people. And so this is part of an ongoing series of exactly that. We had 27 people in the Grand Canyon. We backpacked down 11 miles, set up camp, camped out for 4 days or 5 days, whatever it was. Many of us backpacked back out. Some people helicoptered out. We faced fears after fear and breakthrough after breakthrough. And so we didn't just go sit in a circle and have inspiration downloaded, but we went through massive breakthroughs and transformation and empowerment and insights and skill sets and mindsets and environment that massively up-leveled everyone who participated. And so this series is about bringing that wisdom down from the mountain or down back from the canyon and offering it as a gift to you, our community, our tribe. And so without further ado, bring in Kyle to share. Kyle, what are the biggest takeaways and insights that have been percolating in you around this experience? Even though you were a facilitator, what did you learn and expand into around money and self-worth and zone of genius that would be of benefit to the listeners?
Yeah, thanks, Chris. You could choose three subjects that are more interconnected than money, self-worth, and zone of genius. These things really are the foundation of all the work that we do with people and everything that we try to do with every client we have and with our own selves. I mean, we're constantly digging deeper ourselves in every one of these things. If you think about those three areas, if you're not connected with all three of those areas, you're going to end up hurting somewhere in life. And you know lots of people out there that put tons of focus on money, and they go just plow through, and they can make lots of money in any given field with just drive and determination. And that's not a bad thing, but what usually happens is if they haven't handled their self-worth issues, then they use that money and they develop addictions to medicate the hole inside of them that's connected to the the self-worth stuff. And then if they never develop their zone of genius, no matter how much money they make, they feel like a whore because they're out putting themselves out for somebody else with nothing more than dollars. And so as Chris and I have been on this journey, as we started to take on, like for me, when I first started this, I thought I was just working on my self-worth issues. I was just working on finding out who I was inside and appreciating myself. And it was a journey for me to realize these three are all connected to the core of who I am. Probably the biggest resistance I had in my journey was to money. Most stories, there was this idea that, oh, I can love myself, but the idea that money is a good thing, that was a lot harder for me to get into. And probably one of the biggest, and Chris is right, every time you do a workshop or every time you show up as a teacher or a student, there's so much to be learned. And in this case, with the trip to Havasupai, I was there to support Chris and to facilitate and to help and to really stay connected and hold space for the people that were there and to bring my talents into the area to facilitate transformation for others. And I love doing that. I mean, that lights up my world when I get to do that. And every time I do it, I'm just so blown away at how much more of me gets to come out. It's like I think I'm going to come and I'm going to show up and I'm going to share with people. And then I show up and somebody gives me a gift in return just when they share a piece of their life. There's that piece that was missing that I didn't even know was missing in a thought process I was going through. And somebody shares it and they were going through it. And I had several of these in the canyon. Probably the biggest one for me is, as I've moved through my own money stories that pertain to money, was this idea that no matter where you are in the money game, your ability to help people and to allow them to support themselves by paying you and by giving back and showing up, if you don't allow people to pay you money, you're establishing a relationship that's not of equals. And if you think that you can bring somebody into your space and not treat them as an equal by allowing them to carry their own weight and pay for themselves, then you're automatically putting them on a different playing field than you, and you're handicapping them. And so for me, like, one of the big breakthroughs was I can show up in power in a very powerful setting, make money, and see people so transformed that they think they got a great deal. Like, it was the money that they put out to share space with me was the best investment they'd ever made. Instead of me feeling like I have to sell things, I have to put myself out there, I have to convince people that there's worth there. So, and this is where the money and the self-worth are so connected. All your money stories are connected to your self-worth stuff. And and I've known this, and I've worked through this, and I've taught people this, and every time I come up against it, I get to learn it on a new level. And that was a big one for me, because I've actually, even in my coaching practice and consulting practice, still put a whole bunch of energy into what I do, and for me, the Have a Soup Bite journey was a lot more fun than what I typically do. And so there was this whole new breakthrough to it can be fun. And I saw all the people there having the same breakthrough, and I even understood the concept, but it got to land for me at a lot. I mean, I even caught myself several times looking for work to do. Like, I needed to go do some work, and I got to relax, and I got to enjoy people, and I got to have fun. And there was parts of me that kept breathing through waves of guilt, like, okay, I'm supposed to be hey, I am doing something. Oh my gosh, I'm talking with people, I'm sharing with people. And so this idea that just me showing up in my zone of genius, in power, provides more value than any amount of work that I could do, any amount of manual labor I could do, any amount of research I can do. Me just showing up in my zone of genius is the most value I can provide to the world. That was awesome for me. And I even knew it as a concept, but as AJ said yesterday, or the other day, you get to feel it on a whole new level, on a cellular level, and that was probably one of my biggest shifts there.
Beautiful share. Thank you so much, Kyle. So I want to touch a little bit on some of the psychology that people go through around each of these topics and what each of them mean for me. So let's start with money. Money, thoughts that I believed in the past. Money was the root of all evil. It's harder for a rich man to get through the eye of a needle than it is, or a rich man to get into heaven than it is for a camel to get through the eye of a needle. Money doesn't grow on trees. Money is hard. Money is dirty. Money, like, rich people are greedy and selfish and, lucky and all these things. There was just so much BS in my head around the topic of money. I felt guilty about money, shameful about money, scared to ask for money, scared to charge for my services, scared to be a slimy salesman, scared to, I judged marketing and sales as these slimy, gross things to be avoided at all costs. The last thing I would want people to think of me was that I was like the slimy salesman or the slimy marketer or anything to do with any of that. And along the way, what I discovered was, and they say money is the root of all evil. If you haven't read the book Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand, I totally love and highly recommend that book. But Francisco d'Anconia, a character in the book, does a money speech, and he says, well, if money's the root of all evil, what's the root of money? And the root of money, he says, is not the root of money. I don't remember. Now I'm going to go clear off course here, but Kyle probably remembers it better than me. The root of money is trust, but I'm just going to say it in my own words, which is the root of money is value. The root of money is, what have I done to serve the world today to provide value to make people's lives a better place? And so when they said the love of money is the root of all evil, let's extract the essence out of that. What did they mean? What was the essence message? It's like when you're greedy and you don't give a shit about others and you're not committed to win-win and all you want is more, 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 and you're this greedy, gluttonous bastard who doesn't give a shit about anybody, you're going to step over and on anybody and everybody to get what you want and screw everybody else. Yeah, that's evil. Or I don't know if I can call that evil or not, but like that's their message, like create win-win. And like that's the essence. What I've found throughout my journey is rather than judging religion or old dogmatic beliefs or anything from the past, I say, what if I went to the core of this message, what was the beauty that was shared, that was wisdom, that then men took and twisted to keep people down and make them feel stuck and powerless? So another powerful book is Outwitting the Devil by, what's his name? Napoleon Hill. So brilliant book. It's on audio. It's on, I don't know, other forms. So I listened to it on audio. Love the book. And helped me see through one of the best ways that the devil, and you could call it the devil or you could call it ego or subconscious mind or all kinds of different things. The best way to keep someone contained would be to keep them broke, because when they're broke, they're in scarcity. And when someone's in scarcity of survival, they'll just do just about anything to survive. Some people will kill to survive. Some people will kill for money. Some people will kill you for your watch and the money in your wallet. So the more we can keep people in scarcity and survival, the more, the more the dark forces, however those play out in the universe, can keep someone in scarcity and survival, the less likely we are to thrive and shine and be alive and happy and vibrant and to serve each other and liberate ourselves and each other. So it's actually of high service to the world for us to liberate ourselves from this type of scarcity thinking. When we add impeccable integrity and unconditional love to the equation of money, so pay attention to those ingredients. So, impeccable integrity, unconditional love, money. Combine those three ingredients. It might be like saying, flour is evil. But if you combined a healthy flour with chocolate chips and the healthy sugar and some different things, you got these amazing cookies, right? So the same thing with money. If we just took flour and ate it by itself, it'd probably be nasty as hell. But if we combine it with the right ingredients and process it in the right way, it becomes this awesome thing. And there might be even a healthy cookie for you health fanatics that are like, yeah, but or cookies are from the devil, right? So like, take the parable and use it for service rather than getting caught up on the details. So this money thing, when we combine it with that impeccable integrity and that unconditional love, it becomes of service to the world, of service to us, of service to our children, and we can end this scarcity that has us in bondage, that has us stuck playing small, working dead-end jobs that we hate, running on a hamster wheel over and over and over again, barely paying the bills, and then dying. Seriously, who the fuck wants to run on a hamster wheel all their life, earning a paycheck, paying the bills, and then die? Why? That is enlightenment? That is holy and spiritual and godlike? Like, if we're to be more godly or more like God, wouldn't that be to be more prosperous and loving and serving and present and capable, not more small and scared and sacrificing ourselves to do stupid shit that doesn't serve us or the world? So when we combine the zone of genius is I was given innate talents, gifts, and abilities by my source, my creator, that I'm meant to deliver to all of you. That's why I'm sitting right here on this call right now. I was given the ability to teach. I was given the ability to inspire. I was given the ability to create breakthrough and empower people to remember who they are and create what they want in their life. If I don't share that, I could go out and do some physical labor, work in a restaurant or in the construction field or some other thing, and that would be of service. But is it the highest service I can possibly add to the world? Is it the greatest gift I can possibly give to deep fry some French fries and hand that to you and make you fatter and slower and more fogged in your brain? Or would it be of more service for me to show up right here and share the gifts of my heart that have been given to me as an act of service, but then to also value myself? So we come to the topic of self-worth, to value myself enough and to value you enough. So Jesus taught, love your neighbor as yourself, and if you're not a Christian, I don't give a shit. I don't discriminate any more against you as I do for you or against anyone else. I love Buddha and everybody, all the good people out there, Gandhi and Mother Teresa. But I use whoever I use for examples because they're good examples. So Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself. And the way I interpret this is, if he said, love your neighbor as yourself, if I hate myself, how do I feel about you? If I love myself at a level 2 on a scale of 0 to 10, how much can I love you? If I love myself at a level 3 on a scale of 1 to 10, and you love me at a level 10, how much of your love can I receive? Can I only receive 3? If I love myself at a level 4 on a scale of 1 to 10, how much love, money, and positive energy will I allow in my world? If you want to say, hey, you are so amazing, thank you so much, I would love to contribute this money, the chances are if they want to pay me $10,000 or $100,000 or $1 million or $1,000 or $100, and if I don't feel worthy of that, I'm going to turn it away. No, I can't. And I'm going to deem that that's honorable to turn that away. They're trying to give me a gift. They appreciated my gift. You know, if you walked to my house and knocked on the door and gave me some cookies, and I turned around and said, hey, while you're here, I just baked some fresh bread. It's amazing with this grass-fed butter. You're going to love it. Here you go. If you took them through that, you know, for you to not give back or receive that gift I'm offering you would be like taking that bread I just offered you, throw it on the ground and stomp on the shit, versus receiving it and saying thank you. You know, natives were very good at giving and receiving gifts. A big part of their whole exchange of value had very little to do with money and everything to do with just gifts that were of value to the individual they were giving it to. And they continuously gave and received gifts, and it wasn't even attached to the gift. I could give you a gift, and if you didn't love it and you felt like it would serve your neighbor better, you could turn around and give it to your neighbor, and they wouldn't take that personal. It's just part of the ongoing cycle with no ego involved in it. So self-worth absolutely sets the tone for how much love you can experience in all of your relationships, how much positivity and joy you can experience throughout your days, and how much money you are willing to allow into your world. And so at the end of it, now we talk about self-love. Typically people interpret this as selfishness or self-centeredness or egotistical or false pride, all these things that we don't want to have, right? Well, self-love is none of that. All of those require a lack of self-love. They require that I don't love myself so that I'll think I'm better than you, so that I can separate and distance myself from you. That's not what self-love is. Self-love is with pure humility, but it's also pure confidence. So let's talk about the word humility for a minute. How did they interpret humility? I suck, I'm worthless, I'm a loser, I'm not worthy, no thank you, no problem, whatever. Everything we could do to demoralize ourselves and tear ourselves down and carry guilt and shame and blame and all these lower frequency vibrations that keep us in bondage, that keep us feeling less than, that keep us willing to slave our entire lives in jobs and careers that we hate, pouring ourselves out for just enough money to pay the bills, versus valuing ourselves enough, loving ourselves enough to love those out there enough to give the very best of who we are, that then brings us the greatest joy and fulfillment we could possibly have, while offering the maximum value we could possibly add to anyone's life. And if the principle of dollars follow value applies, then I just gave the whole world the max value I could offer. Naturally, they want to turn around and give me the max value back. So the whole loop connects. I'm doing what I love. I'm making the difference. I'm fulfilling my life purpose. I'm totally feeling happy and fulfilled doing it. It's a joy. It's not a misery. My success is not judged by my suffering and my struggle. It's judged by how much joy and connection and peace and value and service and contribution can I bring, how much can I bless people. And through that, and honoring the laws of nature that say and determine over and over again, these trees behind me produce leaves that then will fall in the spring, fall on the soil on the ground, become soil that nourishes the roots that become next year's leaves. And the soil gives to the tree, and the tree gives to the soil, and it's this continuous loop of give and receive, give and receive, give and receive. And if the tree said, no, no, I can't receive these leaves, please take them back. Soil goes broke. Soil can't nurture the tree. Tree dies. Tree can no longer offer the oxygen and the shade and the beauty that tree offers because tree was not willing to receive. So we've been trained that it's noble to give, but not to receive. 'Tis better to give than to receive. Bullshit. 'Tis better to give and to receive. So the other equation was, people thinking all they wanted to do was receive. What can I get? What can I get? What can I get? That didn't work. That's why the preacher said 'tis better to give than to receive. But neither of those two extremes works. If the tree, all it does is ever give, but it doesn't receive the nutrient, it dies too. So it can't just give, 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 or it can't just receive, receive, receive. Both of those end in chaos and destruction, and it's not sustainable. But to be able to fully give and fully receive, that's where we begin to expand. And pretty soon I have the ability not only to easily provide for myself and my family, which allows me to rest into a state of ease and flow and peace, which then allows me to receive even deeper inspiration, deeper breakthroughs. Like right now, Ironman. 5 years ago, I would have said, I don't have time, I don't have the money, I can't afford it, I need to be working, I got more important things to do. Well, as a result of me living in prosperity, a prosperity of time and a prosperity of money, where I go, I have plenty of time and I have plenty of money, my heart is calling for this to come forth and be expressed through me. Then I go forth and I do it. And as a result of that, I gain breakthrough after breakthrough after breakthrough after breakthrough after breakthrough. And now I have all new levels of gifts and insights and transformation to offer the world because of me choosing to receive money for my gifts and talents and abilities. And that will continue to grow. I will continue to up-level and break through and transform and enhance myself, which will continue to trickle down because I will be giving to the day I die. And it will expand even further because at some point I'll have so much of an excess that it'll be like, oh, we're going to fund a school in Africa. Oh, we're going to start up an orphanage. Oh, we're going to launch these wellness centers. We're going to, like, whatever it is that my heart calls forth that says this is where else you get to give back and serve. Mother Teresa didn't own a damn thing, but she flew everywhere in a Learjet. She was with CEOs, Fortune 500 companies, closing the biggest deals. She was very much a businesswoman, but fully heart-centered, like all of service. How can I be a blessing to the world? That's all she was doing. Although she owned nothing, she lived and operated on a level with resources and income and money that flowed through her, and jet planes and limos and everything you can think of, not because she was this prideful, arrogant chick that needed to prove to the world she was something, but because all she thought about was service, value, service, contribution. And so the money, she literally couldn't keep it from flowing to her. The resources and the opportunities, it was never an ego trip, but it all came anyway just to support her in providing that value to the world. This is who we're all meant to be. Mother Teresa is nothing that you're not. Gandhi was nothing that you're not. No massive, amazing, powerful guru, leader, or mentor of any sort is anything that you're not. Richard Branson has nothing that you don't have. And so if you're not living on that level, you're not living at your potential. There's no reason why I can't be a combination of the best parts of Eminem meets the best parts of Richard Branson meets the best parts of Oprah meets the best parts of Steve Jobs meets the best parts of Mother Teresa and Gandhi and Jesus and Buddha, and bring all that forth in full expression through me into the world as the greatest possible gift that the world could receive through me, transforming and blessing on the greatest, deepest, highest, most expansive levels possible, continually expanding myself and others in every way possible so that we live in more and more joy, more and more peace, more and more prosperity. What the hell else would I want to do? Like if we write the story, Why the hell are we writing anything different than that? Kyle? Gets you unmuted here.
Yeah, Chris and I are sharing an internet connection, so anytime it looks slow, I turn my camera off. I'm just, as I was listening to Chris talk, I'm just like had to take pause and just appreciate my journey. Like, and this was another gift that came out of Havasupai. Every person that I was in that canyon with represented either a thing I was going through in that moment or a step I had been somewhere in my journey. Something I had struggled with, something I'd overcome. Chris is talking about money, and literally some of the things he said are excerpts from my life. When I ran a construction company right after I first got married, I remember literally a gift a friend gave me by not letting me discount my prices to him. I had lots of acquaintances, and I would go to do work for them, and I'd do kick-ass work because it was just my mindset, and then I'd discount it. They'd come, well, how much is it? Oh, it's this much, and I'm giving you this much of a discount. Well, are you sure? That seems like a big discount. Oh, yes, 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 yes. And it was all based on a money mindset that was screwing me my whole life. I had the skill set, even in business, even in construction, which wasn't my zone of genius. I had developed the skill set to be one of the finest craftsmen in my field. And yet I charged way down at the bottom of the scale. Way down at the bottom of the scale. And I remember one of my friends that I went and did a whole bunch of work in their house, and when they went to pay me, they knew what it could cost. And they had saved and budgeted the money, and when I tried to discount it, he said, don't make me a fucking beggar. And I was just like, I thought I was in hero mode thinking I was doing them such a favor. And he said, my wife and I planned on doing this. We budgeted the money, we saved it, and as he started to tell what it was from his point of view, and he said, don't make me a beggar, I was totally trying to pretend in my head he wasn't capable of paying full price. And it was my duty to discount the value I brought to the space so that his experience could be better. And the best thing I could do was to let him show up in power too. And as Chris was talking about that discounting, that whole story came to my mind. That's what I have done. I mean, that was literally 12, 15 years ago. I was doing that with people. And as a result of it, my family was hurting. My wife was going, how the hell are we going to pay bills? I was out doing incredible value in the marketplace and bringing home a fraction of it because of my mindset. And it was totally connected to my self-worth. And as we talk about these three things being connected, you'll probably struggle to find three things that are more connected in your projection through life, or your trajectory through life, than these three things. Because money is the results. Whatever the game you're playing with money, it is the results of where you are in your zone of genius, or where you are with your mindset of your own self-worth. And there's not much. Money is the results. So it's nothing more than the universe replying to you in energy, and how you relate to it is a total reflection of how you govern everything else in here.
Brilliant share, Kyle. Thank you so much. So along those lines of what he's saying, I'm going to share it in another way. When he says it's a reflection of your results, money or profit is a tool of validation. Profit validates whether you've provided value in the marketplace or not and created a healthy exchange for that value. So if you don't have all the money that you want to have, the reason isn't because the economy is bad. The reason isn't because your boss doesn't value you enough. The reason isn't because God hates you. The reason isn't because no one values, it's none of the things that are outside of you. It's everything to do with, ultimately it's, I haven't provided enough value in the marketplace, and or I've provided the value but I haven't been willing to receive the value back. It's a combo of one of those two things. So then if we look and start to dissect that, Well, why aren't you providing value in the marketplace? So the next step becomes, well, I'm not sure if I have the value to add. And where does this come from? A self-worth issue. We don't value ourselves, and so we discount the value of what our genius is. So you go, yeah, but Christopher knows this stuff way better than I do, or Kyle knows this way better than I do, or Tiffany knows conscious parenting way better than I do, or there's other people that are more conscious than I am, or have accomplished bigger things than I have. So I don't know that I have value to add in the marketplace, or it just comes so easy. And what I do, I just don't know that it's that value. So like take Tiffany, she's on the call here. She's a conscious parenting coach, and we're going to have her on, I think, next week or the week after. And so she's a phenomenal conscious parenting coach, but it would be very easy for Tiffany to take what she does with second nature. She's invested the time, money, and energy. She had the passion and drive and will to be the best mother she could be. She's put herself out there for the time, money, and energy to learn the skill sets and mindsets that allow her to be the best parent she can be, continuously expands into that, and has become very fluent and capable of living and practicing and embodying those skills, and is raising her children in a beautiful way. And although all of us, it's like none of us do it perfectly, but that's not the point. The point is we do it beautifully, and we expand continuously into that, and we place consciousness and focus towards that. And so she does this amazing job with this, and she teaches and empowers others to do the same, but it'd be very easy for her or anybody in this position to discount that as just easy or natural, or how can I charge for this? But when you look at the value that's added and the value that's offered, how many people out there value raising the best children they can possibly raise? How important is it that we bring forth children that can handle and take over the world and run the world in a good way? How important is that in transforming the world and changing everything that's not working about the world, from obesity to divorce to the destruction of the planet to war to death, murder and raping and all the chaos and gang violence? All of this would be resolved with conscious parenting. But it carries on and on and on, because people aren't getting conscious parenting. So if Tiffany worries, oh no, I'm not of value, I don't think I could charge that much, it may be the most important thing we could teach. There might be another person, along the same lines. If we turned around the parenting and every child received quality conscious parenting, in one generation, every issue in the world would be resolved. Right? Same thing with meditation. If all you taught was people how to meditate, if every child learned how to meditate at a young age and practice meditation every day, we would have world peace within one generation. And the wars out there are just a reflection of the wars in here, which is the only reason why we're having divorce. It's all the same issue. I don't love myself. I'm at war with me. Therefore, I'm at war with you. That's why we're getting divorced. That's why I'm hating all of you. That's why we're having a war, because you're from the wrong religion, the wrong race, the wrong country, the wrong belief system, the wrong whatever the hell I can do to make me better than you and separate from you in my egoic mind. And so then we have all this crap. But if we just had meditation or self-love or conscious parenting or a combination of all of these, then it all stops and we all thrive, and we just spend a little bit of time blessing each other's lives. It'd be like in the Grand Canyon, Kyle's like, shouldn't I be working? I'm like, no, just you being, playing, connecting, sharing. That would be our lifestyle. We would constantly just be on vacation, connecting, sharing, laughing, joking, enlightening, bringing our gifts to the table, and it wouldn't be work at all. We'd all just be playing all the time, and we would all thrive like we've never thrived before, and we would actually be in harmony with the planet while we're at it. You thriving doesn't mean someone else goes without. It doesn't mean the planet has to be destroyed. We can live in absolute peace and joy and prosperity in a way that's aligned with the planet, aligned with each other, that's done with love, that's done with integrity, that no one goes without. Zero. No one goes without. as long as we adopt those principles and align and only make choices that align with those things. So the key back there, though, is like self-worth, and what may be stopping you from bringing your gifts, your genius to the marketplace is I'm scared to do marketing because people might judge me. I'm scared to do sales because people might reject me. I'm scared to put myself out there because it may not be received well. They may not see my value, and if they don't see my value, maybe I'll fall apart and realize, oh, yep, it's true, I'm not of worth. And then I'll fall apart and go, curl up in fetal position and cry myself to sleep or whatever. I don't know where that came from. So whatever we do that represents, just curling up and becoming small again. But what if I brought my greatest gift to the marketplace and everyone went, ha ha ha, you are such an idiot. Look at that idiot. I don't know if you guys have seen the lone dancer, shirtless dancer video. If you haven't seen it, look it up on YouTube. I think it's called Shirtless Dancer. There's this dude at something on a hillside, and he's dancing, and he's probably high, I don't know. He's just dancing, he's all into it, and everyone's looking at him like, what the hell? He's dancing all by himself, no one else is dancing, he looks like an idiot, and they're just kind of just watching him, and pretty soon another dude joins him. And he, rather than like, get out of here, this is my show, he accepts the dude, and acknowledges the dude, and they both start dancing. Then pretty soon someone's like, hey, that looks fun. And an early adopter joins, and another, and pretty soon they're running. Hundreds of people can't get there fast enough to participate with the crazy shirtless dancer who looks like an idiot when he's all alone, but he don't give a shit. He's just going to shine his light and share his gift and share his message, and then slowly he inspires someone else to do the same, and then someone else, and pretty soon they're the popular crowd, and anyone who's sitting down are the ones that look like idiots. They're like, hey, there's so much more fun happening over here. What are you doing sitting over there being bored laying down on the grass? And so let's all be shirtless dancers. And if they reject us and laugh at us, we just say thank you, and we keep expressing our message, and we discover what's the need in the marketplace that aligns with my genius abilities and gifts and talents and message that I can bring, that the marketplace wants and needs, that they're willing to pay for, that will allow me to bless them and them to bless me, so that we can all live in this happy place that's way the hell better than being bored with the status quo over there. Like, the status quo sucks. Anything you want to add to this, Kyle?
There you go. Yeah, Chris was telling the story about the dancer. It reminded me of training that Chris and I went to, and most of the people at the training were kind of stuffy, and every break they would turn on music, and Chris and me and our wives and a couple other people we knew were dancing and having a good time, and people are judging us, and oh my gosh, those guys are over there dancing. And I think the second day of the training, the facilitator actually acknowledged it and said, interestingly enough, is the people that don't have issues about moving usually don't have a lot less money issues too. They usually have a lot easier flow of money in their lives and everything. Boy, the next break, everybody wanted to come dance with us, and we were just yucking it up. But you could see the passion that we actually have for this. And Chris's analogy of that guy coming over and dancing, it just reminds me of the journey that we've shared too, because there was a point when I first started to dig into my world, and Chris really introduced me to it. And I remember people thinking, oh, yeah, that's kind of cool, and get your ass to work. Right? Oh, really, Chris, you're selling your construction company and going to talk to people and give them advice? Yeah, get your ass to work. And there were a lot of naysayers in the beginning. But the idea that's burning in our hearts is let's change the world. Let's wake everybody up to what really needs to happen so that they can be a part of it. And the only way that we can do that, and the only way you guys can do that, is by stepping into your genius, stepping into what's most creative and most fun for you, leveling up the way you see yourself and the self-worth that you have, and then showing people that you can prosper doing it. And that's what we're all about. That's what we've drugged through the trenches of our own lives to be able to do this, and now we just love guiding people to do it as well. I remember, like, one of my favorite scriptures from when I was growing up and studying Christian was, seek ye first the kingdom of God and all else will be added unto you. And that scripture, I have to say, created a lot of confusion for me, because in the beginning I thought that I was supposed to find an organization somewhere that had the right people in it, and then I was supposed to align myself with them, and then everything else would turn out. And that was a lot of the message that was even taught by the church I grew up in. And we're that church. You come align yourself with this kingdom. And when I tried to apply that to real life, I created lots of pain and lots of misery and lots of learning in my life around it. And the big lesson that landed for me around this concept was the kingdom of God, if you want to call that, is nothing more than the systems and processes and laws and principles that this entire universe is governed on. The kingdom, it's already in existence. And our job, when it says seek ye first, is to understand those principles and apply them in our lives and become examples of them. And then everything is added to us. The kingdom of God is nothing more than a system of principles that governs expansion. And when you align yourself with expansion and the principles that govern it, you expand. All things being added unto you is only because you aligned yourself with a system that adds things unto you. And if you don't have things added unto you, if you're not increasing and you're not expanding and you're not seeing your dreams fulfilled, it's because you're out of alignment with one of the principles of the universe. And you can call it the kingdom of God, you can call it whatever you want. And this is what Chris is talking about with the money principles that we teach and we run our systems on. And this is what we're passionate about bringing to the world. And the same principles, they apply across the board to your zone of genius, to your self-worth, to your money. When you create flow and connection with all those things, money is not an issue.
Brilliant share. Thank you so much, Kyle. Everyone take a breath.
Dance.
So, along those lines of dance, we're going to wrap this up in the next few minutes here, but at the end of the day, one of the things you notice about me is I am fairly free with expressing myself publicly. Like, I can be a mess, I can cry, I can be loud, I can be quiet, I can be soft, I can be a healer, I can be a warrior, I can be in your face, I can say fuck you, I can say I love you, and I can go all those places. So the more you embrace every aspect of you, and a lot of what we did in the Grand Canyon was about stretching beyond our comfort zone. How many ways can we stretch beyond our comfort zone that we become comfortable in more and more scenarios? So the person who has the self-worth to be able to dance publicly, to be able to sing publicly. Just before this call, I was on a phone call, and I was with my daughter, and she's like, pull into that drive-through. I'm like, all right, but I wanted to stay on my call and stay present, so I pulled in. There was no other cars. I backed through the drive-through and rolled her window down, and she's kind of just laughing because she's kind of a rebel too, like me. But a little bit of her was a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit like embarrassed, but at the same time, she just loves that kind of stuff like me. So we had this rebel moment and a memory, and I even grabbed her phone. I'm like, give me your phone, and I took a picture because I'll probably make a post about it later. Like, we're making memories, doing fun stuff, but I used to, 10 years ago or 20 years ago, would have freaked out about that. Like, oh no, who's judging us? This isn't how you do it. Is this okay? And now I have the freedom to sing publicly, dance publicly, cry in front of people, get on here. A few years ago, if I would have been late, like I was late to this call, I would have been freaking out. Oh no, I scheduled this and I didn't market it very well. And what if they judge me and think that I'm horrible and I suck and blah, blah, blah. And today I'm like, oh shit, we're going to be late. I guess I'll post and say, hey, we're going to be late. And then we'll be on and then we'll move forward. And so the more you come to love yourself, the more at peace you are no matter what. You can drive backwards and do crazy stuff and do anything and everything in front of anybody, and you stop basing your self-worth on what other people think of you, and you're able to just shine and be a hollow vessel that creative source can express through, instead of having all the filters that hold you back and contain you and keep you in bondage and keep you small. So the more you can embrace all aspects of you, the softness and the kindness and the power and the boldness and the directness, and if you envision being on a stage, own the full stage. Step all the way to the front and all the way to the right and all the way to the left and all the way to the back, and to be able to move small and to be able to talk soft and to lean into it and look them in the eyes. But then in the next moment, be able to speak loudly and use your full body with full passion, no matter who thinks what about you. That demonstrates a freedom and a peace inside of you to just be. And that opens up for money to flow to you. And when people even just because I love myself and value myself beyond what anybody thinks of me, then of course I'm going to bless myself with prosperity. 2, when you see me free to be all of me, even if you don't know what's happening, inside of you subconsciously what happens is says, that dude's free. I don't know how, I don't know why, but I want some of that. Free yourselves. Whatever scares you, go do it. Every time you're scared, go do it until you're not scared anymore. I could tell you countless stories and examples of clients and people who have become multimillionaires as a result of this one principle. Every time you're scared, instead of running that way, turn and face directly into the fear and head through it. And on the other side, just like we discovered over and over again in the canyon, oh, I'm scared of jumping here. I'm scared of climbing there. I'm scared of expressing myself in this way. Every single time, for every single person, on the other side of that fear was, oh, it wasn't as scary as I thought. In fact, that was fun and awesome. I feel more free. I feel more at peace. And pretty soon you gain so much momentum. Like for me, it took quite a while to get through so many layers, but at some point it's like, when you say, do this or else, I'm like, I think I'll take or else. That sounds like an interesting path. Like, do the so the thing that people take as scary, I now take as exciting. And of course, we teach over and over, fear is simply excitement without breath. So feel the fear, take a breath, turn it into excitement, and do it anyway. This is the path to liberation. This is the path to realizing that everything you've ever feared about, anything and everything, was always just a story in your head that was meant to and designed to hold you back, keep you contained, keep you constricted, and it's up to you to liberate yourself. Kyle, any final words before we wrap this thing?
I was settling into kind of a deep appreciation just of the whole experience, not just Havasupai, but the whole experience of working with people in this way. And I had the thought around the whole self-worth thing. One of the places that I've struggled probably most in my life with self-worth was just acknowledging myself as equal. I would see subpar, versus equal. And a lot of other people might have, not some other people have the other problem where they see it above. When I began to explore and really engage with myself, and probably one of the most powerful things for me to see in the canyon was the time that we did the photo shoot at the shower or the waterfall, where everybody stood at the waterfall and they embraced themselves, and the idea was to feel sensual. And what I experienced when I got up there, and what I experienced everybody else that fully participated in it, was that they got to have an experience where they felt beautiful. It wasn't because somebody else told them they were beautiful. It wasn't because somebody else acknowledged them or gave them feedback. The experience of being beautiful came from inside. They created it. They experienced themselves as a beautiful being. And when you want to up-level your self-worth, if you feel like self-worth is, again, one of the 3 pillars we're talking about here. But anytime you can create experiences where you get to stop and be with you and feel how amazing you are and experience yourself as beautiful, powerful, sexy, sensual, all those things are going to continue to feed the repository of your self-worth. And that's what this is all about. Finding out who you really are and showing up in life as that person. And That's what the world needs. The world doesn't need you to show up as somebody else. The world needs you to show up as you. And the only way you can show up as you is to figure out who you are in the first place and love that person, fully embrace them, and then love showing up as them.
Thank you so much, Kyle. So thank you, everybody, for being here. We've got such an group. The most amazing community online, in my unhumble opinion. Just such a phenomenal community of openness and authenticity and vulnerability and commitment to expansion and growth. This community is the real deal. I'm so blessed and grateful to have all of you around me and participating and playing and engaging in such a beautiful way. It just brings joy to my heart and soul to be walking and running beside each of you and expanding this every single day. I love seeing each of you launching your own products and services and businesses and creating success and making that positive contribution in the world. Want each of you to know that there's a lot of amazingness coming down the line out of the people who are participating in this community. We've got fight trainers and weight loss coaches and parenting coaches and breakthrough coaches and fitness and Ironman coaches and mindset and breakthrough and all these things that are so phenomenal right here in this community that is here to bless and serve, that live by these principles that create prosperity for all of us. Let's become the new elite in a good way, not like we're better than anybody, but like we have, been the shirtless dancer. We've stood up, we've become the norm, and the norm is now love, unconditional love, impeccable integrity, and prosperity in a way that aligns with the highest and best for all beings, all creatures, all entities, all of everything. And that we shine forth fully expressed, fully singing our song and dancing our dance, and being the greatest version of ourselves. So stay tuned. We've got more epic groups of people coming on, hangouts to share their key takeaways and insights, to bless you and bring these gifts from the mountain. There's also some strategic partnerships that I'm planning to be forging moving forward. We're going to be bringing forth some conscious parenting courses. We're going to be bringing forth some relationships courses. We're going to bring forth some fitness and weight loss and sexiness programs. We're going to be bringing forth some Ironman training and that really is pushing the mind to the maximum capacity of mental fortitude and follow through and the ability to create anything that you put your mind to. Of course, we have our ongoing badass breakthrough adventures, and Megan and I are going to be launching some self-love that's just a deeply nurturing, feminine, deep self-love experience that will transform you to your soul. We'll probably be coming out with something like that this fall, and maybe again with something in the winter, maybe February and sometime in the fall with some of that stuff. So we're going to have lots of goodies coming forth to bless your lives and help enhance and improve and speed up your progress in your journey. So stay tuned, keep tuning in, receiving these free gifts that we're bringing to you. And when you feel called to participate on a different level, of course, we always have our online Badass Ascension group coaching that is committed to delivering spirituality, relationships, finances, and physical fitness in an environment that is supportive and loving and provides accountability and breakthrough work and everything that's optimal to cultivate the greatest version of you in the easiest, most shortest amount of time possible. So we always have those going on, and then we'll have all these specialty courses coming up as well. But when you're ready, keep showing up and utilizing this free content to bless your life and up-level as quickly as you possibly can and provide more value to the world so that you have more resources to invest in yourself so that you can provide more value to others and then get even more and give even more and continue the expansion up while receiving our hand, because we're reaching down to help you. You reach up and receive our help to get there faster and easier. Then you turn around and reach down and help others to get up to where you're at faster and easier. And don't compare yourselves with us or others. You don't need to be as far up the mountain as we are. You just need to be further up the mountain than the people you're helping. We'll help you, you help them, and we'll all get to the top in the fastest, easiest way possible while having a blast doing it. And whenever you're ready, reach out, private message me, and we'll find what's going to best get you there in the fastest way possible in a way that matches your budget and your commitment level and your just meets you exactly where you're at and where you're wanting to go from here. Thank you so much for your time. Stay tuned. So much more amazingness to come. Create an amazing day.